Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to RAMP Mondaze. We apologize for the late start, but Sir BOLO is having technical difficulties with his phone. So we can't hold up the show any longer. We've been waiting for him since 9 p.m. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Jamaican time. And he's having issues with that phone. So um, as soon as you get, if you can't get on Bolo, that's fine. You can call in, and I'll patch you through a direct line with my phone. So call me on WhatsApp, and we'll see if we can patch you in without video. All right. So we're gonna continue the show, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. So as you know, Nara Mondays, aka PIP Mondays, is a live stream podcast show, this podcast program every Monday to prioritize, inform, and promote important information and events in the southeast of St. Elizabeth and the southwest of Manchester in South Central Jamaica. Also, we highlight information and events to and from our global South Central Jamaican Diaspora. Part 7 of NARAMP Mondays, aka PIP Mondays, is um you gotta remember it's a subsidiary of NARAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. So stay tuned as we look into the final appeal to donate the remaining monies for the brilliant young award-winning 12-year-old gymnast from Comapen District in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. Her name is Kayla Martin. Kayla desperately needs your help. She's I'm gonna dive into that in a little while. Furthermore, we're trying to get through to Bolo in terms of connecting his phone to the program. So he has a phone issue. So we're waiting for him, and if he doesn't get on by the end of the show, we'll have to do it another day, or we'll try to get him to call in while we're on the show on my WhatsApp, and I'll try to plug him in with audio only. So if you're listening, Bolo, or someone beside you is listening, if he can't work out the problem, just call in directly on WhatsApp. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nara Mondays. So let's start with young Kayla Martin. So I spoke to her grandmother today, and she got another few donations that was about 50 US dollars it amounted to. However, she was short a substantial amount, so she contacted um, the lady who's taking care of all this program, and she wanted to know what the balance was because she had paid over some 800. Let me look at it, so I'm not giving the wrong figures. And I'm going to show you the program outline with the cost and so on, with the phone numbers if you want to check. So let me get to it here. We get kind of got disorientated by this phone issue. So here we go. Now, I also wrote it down on another document, but we'll have to get back to that. So, yep. So she paid over. Um, Let me get this on screen because I don't have that paper in front of me with the calculations. All right. So here we go. So when she got this today, this was sent over to her today. Um, what we were asking for is far less than um, what they're at, what the cost is. So she got the cost breakdown today. So she had paid over um, I think $720 and then $800, something along those lines. And then there was a balance that she thought it was half of it. However, when they broke it down and gave her the registration package and the warm up gear and competition leotard cost, and also the flight, now we know that she can actually go there once she pays up the money, because the breakdown of travel and accommodation options are one child, one adult. The hotel cost is $2,065, and also there's a $784.70 transportation cost. So that in total is 2,849.70. But we need to know, and I'm going to find out tomorrow, what if the registration package and the warm up gear and leotard is also in a part of that $3,000 she was told. So I'm going to get on that tomorrow. But from this, it doesn't look like it from what I'm reading here. And it says all fees have to be paid in US dollars. Family and friends are welcome to join the trip. Flight and transportation expenses may vary depending on the time of booking. The total cost of each participant will include the registration package, gear costs, and the appropriate travel and accommodation package based on their group size. Okay, so there's a few questions to be answered there. So therefore, let me remove the banner down below so that you can see the telephone numbers as well. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out where she's at, because this would show that she owes about a balance of $2,000, and she she has probably around I would say somewhere in the region of, she'd be short somewhere in the region of around about $700, if I'm right, if I'm reading this right, based on the amount she has on hand left. So she had paid over roughly about $1,500. Then she has another maybe 13, 12, 1,300. I'd have to look back at the numbers. It's in my notebook, but it's not in front of me. So we're going to check on that. And I'm also reaching out to the Member of Parliament, Mr. Frank Witter. I left him a message. If anyone's listening, please reach out to Frank and tell him to return my call. Frank, I know you're busy, but call me. Miss Darlene Morgan had left you a letter regarding this competition, so to get some help from the government, and she's not heard back from you. So please get in contact with me so we can work this out. Also, I'll be trying to reach out to Miss Babsy Grange as well. She's the sports minister, isn't she? So I'm going to do that in the morning to help her out with the balance, or if they can sponsor, they have monies for these things, because she's going to be representing Jamaica. Come on, I don't think this is anything that would be a problem for the government to step in. All right, so and she's traveling internationally, so the embassy would have to be alerted, right? Because these are Jamaicans traveling abroad. So the Dominican Republic should have an embassy, Jamaican embassy. I'm not too sure. I gotta look it up. You can look it up and tell me in the comment section. Just send me a comment right here, and if while I'm doing this, you can look it up. So we have some work cut out for tomorrow. Miss Darlene was told after she was sent this list that she should take the monies in on Wednesday when she brings young Kayla to practice. So the person who is heading this, and this is Jody Ann. She's also the coach. She also teaches other summer classes and so on. So she was extremely busy. She could not meet with Miss Darling today to take what she had in her possession. So we're going to follow up on this, and I will report back to you and tell you how things are going. And we're reaching out to Mr. Frank Witter, the member of parliament for the area, and also I'm going to try to get to Minister Babsy Grange to bring this to her attention, because young Kayla is still short, roughly about, I'd say, 700 US dollars. Um, so let's see what happens tomorrow, guys. I'm going to report to you, and then we take it from there. Also, as we say, we're still waiting for Sir Bolo to connect. So you can call me from your WhatsApp. If you can't get on to the link, the StreamYard link, call me on WhatsApp, and we'll see if we can patch you in with audio only. So just try it that way, so we can get you on here to talk about a night at the Roxbury. So I'll push this to the last event that I will discuss for the night until you get on, or whenever you get on, I'll just take it right there. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna switch over to some immigration news, and there's some things that I need my audience to know based on what is happening on the ground here. So I'm going to share my screen right now and show you what's going on in that category. So there's a lot of green card fraud going on, and that's nothing new, but it has taken a different turn over the last 6 to 7 months because of what's going on here with immigration. So therefore, I wanted to bring this to you so that anyone in our audience or in our diaspora or from Jamaica, and they're here and they're thinking about it, please do not. This is not the way to go. And you should try to speak to an immigration attorney, an immigration specialist to get your options. Things have changed, but there's a lot of things that are changing that may help you. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of adverse things going on, but there's other things that are going on within immigration that may be of benefit to you. So you need advice. I'm going to put my number down below at the end of the show, so you can contact me if you need some information and direction in regards to your particular case. Then I can assist you and point you in the right direction. So in the meantime, I'm going to share this with you. This is a big deal, guys. So therefore, let's put it up on stage and get you to listen. You're gonna listen into this and tell me what you think. So let's go. Here we go. You can tell me in the comment section. All right, here we go.
USCIS is no longer just denying suspicious applications. They're referring them to IC. If you're filing a marriage-based green card, renewing an H-1B, or even waiting on asylum, this crackdown directly affects you. One mistake could now mean removal proceedings, not just delays. Let's break down exactly how USCIS is enforcing these changes, what real applicants are facing, and how you can protect your case this year. USCIS is now acting like an enforcement agency. Since January 2025, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has expanded beyond paperwork processing. It's now actively detecting and disrupting fraud across every category: family-based, employment-based, and humanitarian. Mandatory in-person interviews are back for nearly all marriage-based green cards. Social media checks are now being quietly conducted even before biometrics appointments. And when fraud is suspected, even if unproven, cases are being referred directly to IC. Marriage fraud investigations are operating nationwide. In April 2025, federal agents arrested over a dozen individuals involved in a commercial marriage fraud ring that spanned multiple states. Fake wedding ceremonies, false cohabitation claims, and recycled documentation were all part of the scheme. The consequences? Every green card tied to those applications was revoked. Several individuals were indicted in federal court, not immigration court, facing years of prison time. USCIS has made it clear. These aren't just delays or denials. Fraud is now a felony case. If you've made it this far, it means you care about protecting your case. And that's exactly why staying updated matters. USCIS policies are shifting fast, and missing just one update could put your entire application at risk. Subscribe to Immoscope now for accurate, legally grounded immigration news that actually helps you prepare, not just react. Employment visas under deep scrutiny. Fraud isn't just about fake marriages. Employment-based cases are also being targeted. In Texas, 2 U.S. residents were charged in May 2025 for creating fake companies that sponsored applicants under EB-2, EB-3, and H-1B categories. These weren't isolated errors. These were deliberately falsified job offers, payroll records, and labor certifications. USCIS, working with ICE, arrested the offenders and revoked dozens of pending visa applications linked to the operation. Since January, over 360 arrests have taken place at or near USCIS field offices, something that would have been unheard of 5 years ago. Digital surveillance is quietly expanding. Your digital footprint, especially social media, is no longer separate from your immigration file. As of mid-2025, USCIS has reviewed thousands of online profiles, often without notice, and used them to flag cases for fraud review. They're not just looking for anti-American views. They're cross-checking relationship claims, employment timelines, and
I want to mention here, guys, that when you talk about digital footprint, your phone has a GPS on it, and that GPS tells where you go and where you are every day, every second, every minute, every hour, every year. There's a log there that tells USCIS where you are. So if you claim to be at one address and that phone does not end up at that address overnight or regularly, then that in itself is is a footprint that can determine what your case is or what your situation is. So be careful because they're checking everything now. So let's go.
travel histories. If you say you're living with your spouse, but your Instagram shows a different city or partner, it may become part of your interview file. A record-high backlog, and fraud makes it worse. With over 11 million immigration cases pending, the system is under strain. But according to USCIS internal reports, fraud detection investigations are one of the major contributors to these delays. Why? Because officers are now spending time investigating fake filings, verifying employment claims, and reviewing digital evidence. That means even genuine applicants may face longer timelines, not because they did anything wrong, but because others are gaming the system. Congress just approved $376 million for fraud enforcement. This isn't just rhetoric. In 2025, a dedicated fraud enforcement budget, $376 million, was approved by Congress and directed toward marriage fraud crackdowns, interview training, tip line expansions, and case audits. That money is already being used to hire more fraud detection officers, expand investigative partnerships with ICE, and deploy digital vetting tools. The result? More scrutiny, fewer shortcuts, and fewer second chances. What you should be doing right now. If you're applying for any immigration benefit in 2025, here's what this means for you. Be 100% truthful on every form. Even omissions count as misrepresentation. Use credible documentation, especially for relationships, work history, and timelines. Expect longer processing times.
Now, if you notice what he said, use credible documents, so original documents that is traceable. So you don't want to be taking pictures of something that is not authentic and sending it in as something to represent whatever they're asking for or to authenticate a situation. You got to make sure that the documents you're sending in, everything checks out. You can't make a mistake these days, guys. It's going to cost you, number one, in more ways than one. So you will find that your case may be denied. It's going to cost you again to refile, and maybe depending on that situation that you're denied for, you could end up in court. So you don't want to take any risk or any chances. You got to be absolutely spot on. So that this is why you need an immigration attorney, an immigration specialist. So I'm going to put my numbers down below. Contact me if you have any questions or you need to be pointed in the right direction. I will help you. So here we go.
Especially if you fall into a high-risk category like marriage-based or asylum. Avoid risky behavior online. Social media is now part of the vetting process. Report suspected fraud anonymously through the USCIS tip line.
So those who like to horse around and play around on their smartphone and on social media and make suggestive uh, tweets and comments and so on, stop, because you got to think about what you're transmitting or sending out there into the World Wide Web. It stays there forever, and I'm not too sure if you, when you erase it, if it even goes anywhere. The federal government has ways to find your footprint. That's your digital footprint, and they have stepped up the game now, ladies and gentlemen. So whosoever is out there, your family members, your friend, or your friends, please let them know this is not the time for shenanigans. It's not the time to be playing around or making false comments or horsing around and sending out the wrong message out there when you're in an immigration situation. So be careful. Here we go.
Because false filings delay your case too. The message from USCIS is simple. Integrity matters and fraud will be punished, not just denied. For honest applicants, these rules are meant to protect your path forward. But the environment in 2025 is more aggressive, more digital, and less forgiving than ever before. Stay informed, stay compliant, and don't give USCIS any reason to doubt your case. This is Imascope, breaking.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it yourself. Don't give USCIS any reason, or the embassy any reason. That is, if you're coming to the United States on a family-based petition or whatever petition it is, don't give them any reason. Don't say the wrong thing. Don't post the things that will haunt you or come back and hurt you. They're going to be looking at it. So you got to be absolutely sure of what you're doing online and what you're also submitting to the U.S. government. All right, so that's a tip for everybody. So let's move on to some other news here that is disturbing. Goodness gracious me. So I came across this and I'm going to share it. I don't know how interested you're going to be in this, but this was um, um, something that's very disturbing. So here we go. Let's listen to this for a minute. Here's kind of a graphic. So hold on, let me put that on stage here, and then get that going.
Graphic representation of the arguments Tulsi is making here, supported, she says, by her evidence. Department of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, Americans will finally learn the truth about how in 2016, so 9 years ago now, may have something to do with statute of limitations, which is generally 5 years. In 2016, intelligence was politicized and weaponized by the most powerful people in the Obama administration to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup against President Donald Trump, subverting the will of the American people and undermining our democrat republic. Here's how. For months preceding the 2016 election, the intelligence community shared a consensus view. Russia lacked the intent and capability to hack U.S. elections. But weeks after President Trump's historic 2016 victory, defeating Hillary Clinton, but before he was sworn in and had control of the government, when Obama was still in control, everything changed all of a sudden.
They don't believe how toxic this is. If you're still using a...
On December 8th, 2016, intelligence community officials prepared an assessment for President Obama's daily brief, finding that Russia did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting cyber attacks on infrastructure. Before it could reach the president's desk, however, it was abruptly pulled based on new guidance. This key intelligence assessment was never published. It was hidden until now, when Trump's people are in charge of intelligence. The next day, December 9th, 2016, top national security officials, including FBI Director James Comey, what a dirtbag he turned out to be, CIA Director John Brennan, he was always a dirtbag, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, also always a dirtbag, gathered at the Obama White House to discuss Russia. Does this look like conspiracy yet? Obama directed the intelligence community to create a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russian election meddling, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments released over the previous several months. Does this look like conspiratorial fabrication of a narrative of intelligence? Obama officials immediately leaned on their allies in the media to advance their falsehood. Anonymous intelligence community sources leaked classified information to the Washington Post and others that Russia had intervened to hack the election in Trump's favor. So just so you know, folks, this is how this works. So the intelligence community, of course, is gathering millions of bits of information all the time. And a lot of it is trash. They, in fact, grade their intelligence that they receive in terms of how reliable it is. And they don't give much credence to unreliable intelligence. That should be obvious to make sense. So, of course, they had some intelligence that Russia might hack the election, but for months and months and months, they were saying, yeah, this stuff is trash. It's completely unreliable, until Obama needed it to be non-trash. When they needed it to be non-trash, they hid all the evidence that it was unreliable, and then they leak it to the media, the friendly, progressive, fascist left media. And the media publishes the leaks as unnamed sources from the intelligence community are telling us that there's Russian hacking or Russian collusion or whatever it is that Obama wanted them to say. Then the security guys grab those news reports and come back to the intelligence community and say, holy cow, have you guys heard? The papers are reporting this intelligence. That makes it more credible. You see how it works? They take their low credibility intelligence, they cycle it through the media breathlessly reports on it, and now the intelligence community says, based on the media reports that we planted, we're going to assign a higher level of credibility to intelligence they already determined to be trash. It's a complete fabrication of quality. Tulsi continues, on January 6th, just days before President Trump took office, Department of National Intelligence Clapper unveiled the Obama-directed politicized assessment, the fabricated assessment, a gross weaponization of intelligence that laid the groundwork for a years-long coup intended to subvert President Trump's entire presidency. It was the 2 years plus of the Mueller investigation. Mueller, who used to be the director of the FBI before Comey took over. Sounds nice, huh? Just the guy you'd want, right? According to whistleblower emails shared with us today, we know Clapper and used the baseless, discredited Steele dossier. This was the low-quality intelligence they fed back into the media so they can claim the media reporting made it credible. Used the baseless, discredited Steele dossier as a source to push this false narrative in the intelligence community, in the intelligence assessment, sorry. These documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest levels of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people and to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate. And then someone responds to this, of course, with a picture of January 6th. And I just want to remind everybody, the January 6th protest is completely distinguishable from everything the left does, particularly these years-long intelligence coup attempts, false intelligence coup attempts. January 6th protests, as the name suggests, took place on one day. In fact, it only took place for 5 hours. By 5 p.m. that afternoon, everybody picked up their stuff and went home. That's quite the insurrection. How many guns did they bring to this insurrection? In the most heavily armed nation on earth, lawful civilian ownership of guns. What percentage of these protesters you think owned guns at home? 100%? 150% of them? None of them brought a gun to this insurrection. And then the President Joe auto pen dementia Biden administration spent years cruelly persecuting these people until thankfully they were, of course, ultimately pardoned by the great and powerful President Donald J. Trump. A little more Tulsi Gabbard here. These documents that she released, and I've linked them in the description of today's show. These documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest level of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people. And the great and powerful Stephen Miller. Gabbard has exposed the startling depths of a seditious coup against the Republic. The forces behind this coup have done and will do anything to protect their grasp on illegal and illegitimate power. Do not underestimate their capabilities or depravities, but we are stronger. We sure are, Stephen. We sure are. All right, let's get to the subs. Thanks for watching this highlight segment of our...
Ladies and gentlemen, that was some disturbing news to hear that these things that were going on that was orchestrated all the way back to the President Obama's administration. I'm going to keep an eye on that and watch how this unfolds, and I'll bring that to you as soon as it does. So it is interesting to see, what is coming out now, because everything is in the wide open. President Donald Trump is not joking around; he's putting it out there. So he's not keeping it on the wraps. He wants you to know what happened, because they try to persecute him in many ways, and unsuccessfully, that is, but they're still trying. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to, let's talk about the Alpart pension situation. We're deep into phase two, and we're almost at the end of phase two. We want to move on to phase three. However, I'm going to move on administratively. However, we need the members to, all the living members, to send in their information. And I'm going to make that appeal over the next coming week and see how it goes from there. I need every member of the Alpart hourly workers who have worked at Alumna Partners of Jamaica to send your information in, your name, badge number, telephone number, email, address, the year you started, the year you ended at the plant. That's about it, and your address. So please send it in, pass on the word, and please send in your information. We need it, because we need to move forward. But we cannot, this train will not move until you send your information in. And we're against the clock. We're working against the clock, guys, and we have a lot of people in the background who want to move forward, and we need to collaborate, but we need all of you on board. Okay, so you need to send your information in, call your other colleagues, and tell them to do the same if they have not done so. It is important that you do. So let's move on from there, and let's talk about Kay's Health Fair. That's on Saturday, July 26th. And as you know, that's this coming Saturday. So we're trying to get to Miss K. I left her a message today, so we'll see whether or not she'll be able to come on the show before the event to talk about it for a couple of minutes. I don't know. She's extremely busy with work, preparing, and all that good stuff, but coordinating all the stuff that they're gonna give away free. So you'll get free screening of blood pressure and blood sugar. That's free blood pressure checks, free blood sugar checks, and free HIV tests. We also have doctors coming in to give free back to school medicals. So also there'll be a lot of information on the New Forest High School and other stuff like health and wellness from a health and wellness company, Sagicor Insurance, and so on. So you got a lot of stuff going on July 26th at the Agri Plus Farm Store in New Forest District in Manchester. So you need to check that out, guys. It starts at 9 a.m. So bring out those who need free blood pressure checks, free blood sugar checks, and the HIV test, and so on, and the children who need free back to school medicals. The doctors will be there. You need information on New Forest High School. Come on, you gotta come on down to the health fair, K's Mobile Service Health Fair, and check her out at AgriPlus Farm Store in New Forest District in Manchester. Also, let's look at the cricket match that's coming up at Downs, Manchester at the Bowls Oval. This is on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. And this is a cricket match where Melbourne Cricket Club meets our faces Westmoreland Strikers. And also Fairfield Cricket Club takes on Comfort Cricket Club. So it's a big and a full day of cricket at one of the most beautiful family grounds. That's the Bowls Oval in Downs, Manchester. You've got Bowls Fish Pot too, a great restaurant, and you'll have great Jamaican cooking right on the location at Bowls Oval. So you'll have your great beverages and good food. So check it out, guys. It's a family day event. You know, you can take the entire family, and there's going to be a lot of people there because you got the Melbourne Cricket Club fans, the Westmoreland Strikers fans, the Fairfield fans, and also the Comfort Cricket Club fans. So check out Bowls Oval on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, in Downs District in Manchester at the Bowls Oval. This is going to be a great day to take out the family. So let's move on to the Chicken Back and Seafood Festival with Mr. Pete Anito. I left him a message as well to get on the show to talk about it. Tell us about it. What's going on with the chicken back and how it was originated, you know, how long it's been going on, what to expect on the day. We know that there's going to be chicken back in every style. Breakfast will be served at 8 a.m. and it's going to be at Tara's Seafood and Restaurant and Lounge in Alligator Pond in Manchester, and also you'll have you have the opportunity to go to the river that's nearby, so you can bring your swim trunks. You can also um, dive in the Caribbean Sea. It's right there. The beach is right there too, and you're gonna have a lot of stuff going on. Great Jamaican cooking. You know, it's always a great event. The music is always great. So, Mr. Peter Nita, the time is winding down. This is next week, if I remember right. The date is next week. Yeah, it's gonna be next week Friday. Yep, the 1st of August, and the time is winding down. So let's go. Anyways, we haven't heard from BOLO yet, so we're gonna close the show shortly. So BOLO, the called is A Night at the Roxbury. Swamp Youth Promotion, in association with BOLO, presents his birthday celebration on July 25th. That's Friday. So, A Night at the Roxbury, it's called. Musical juggling by DJ Five of the Uptown Movement and also DJ Kino. I reached out to him. He's at a wedding. He's at working at a wedding right now, so he was not able to come on tonight. But I'll try to get them before Friday. Let's see if Bolo can work out his phone issues, and so we can get to him. So let's play a little background music for this. So, A Night at the Roxbury this Friday, Friday, July 25th, is going to be a big, big deal. It's going to be at Lane Road in New Forest District in Manchester. You got to check it out, guys. This is going to be one of the big, big deals. You got to understand that the location is one of those sexy locations. I'm telling you. A Night at the Roxbury is going to be off the chain. All roads lead to Lane Road in New Forest District in Manchester on Friday, July 25th. Don't miss it. You got Three the Hard Way juggling. That's DJ Five, the Uptown Movements, and the Big Bad DJ Kino. He's going to be off the chain, guys. You're going to get some great food, great atmosphere, great roads to get there, and a lot of parking. Don't miss it. This is going to be off the chain. We're waiting for Bolo, who has phone problems. But if he doesn't come on tonight, we'll get him another night. Ladies and gentlemen, A Night at the Roxbury is going to be grown sexy and fun. You got to be there. DJ Five, the Uptown Movements, they got a lot of vibe. DJ Kino, I'm telling you, he's another level. He's at another level, ladies and gentlemen. Gotta be there. A Night at the Roxbury. Friday, this Friday, this Friday, this Friday. Be prepared for it. It's gonna be amazing. It's the summer party of all summer parties. This is Sir Bolo himself, the man with the alcohol. Goodness gracious me. What a vibe on Friday. Make your way to Lane Road, New Forest on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be the party of all parties. I guarantee you. Three the Hard Way. Uptown Movements, DJ Five, and the Big Bad DJ Kino. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, check it out. It's gonna be fun. Fun can done. Big up yourself, Sir Bolo, and we'll try to get you back on the show before Friday. I know you're having phone problems, but don't worry about it. We got time, and we're going to get it done. All right, this is RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We say thank you to each and every one for making it RAMP tonight as we wrap up this show. We say God bless everyone, and we'll report back to you about young Kayla and what's going on there. Mr. Frank Witter, we need to talk to you. And we're going to reach out to Minister Babsy Grange to see what she can do to get this under control, to get Kayla to the Dominican Republic. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. This is RAMP Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. As we get ready to close the show, we say thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and we say that in true RAMP style. We say, and in Naram fashion, we say always remember when you go to pray when you're going out, pray when you're coming in. Always remember that God is in control. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight, and we'll see you at the next show. Naram Promotions is at you.